So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 64554637228. And apparently, we are wrecking our habitat on this planet for fun, for kicks. Now, why would I say that we're doing it for kicks? Well, there's supposed to be two classes of things. There's stuff that you have to do, and it's stuff that, well, I think I'm making a mess of this. There's stuff that you have to do, and then there's stuff that you want to do. And okay, do we have to um, increase the CO2 in the air? Is that an imperative? Do we have to do this? No, we don't. We don't have to consume more stuff. We could immediately just start trying to reduce the CO2 in the atmosphere. There is no specific reason why there should be a single moment more of continuing to do things the way that we've been doing them. And okay, let's divide the population of the world. So they're extremely wealthy people, right, who never need to work another day in their lives. Um, they often lead companies like Jeff Bezos, Larry Ellison, um, what's his name, Zuckerberg, all of these people. So they don't need to do anything to live at the same standard of living for the rest of their lives, probably for hundreds of years. Um, but have they decided that they're going to direct all of their efforts to saving the planet, or not the planet, but really our habitat? No, nobody's decided to do it. They've just decided to continue what they're doing. Um, all of which probably contributes to increased emissions. Um, well, of course, Bill Gates is trying to mitigate things that he has done in that respect. Um, but people like Jeff Bezos, SpaceX, um, Elon Musk, on the one hand, he's trying to electrify cars. Yeah, that's great. Hopefully, the energy for the cars is coming from solar farms or something like that. But on the other hand, he is pledging to send up lots of rockets, delivering all these satellites into orbit. The emissions of all these rockets are probably not helping the planet. And he wants to do thousands and thousands of launches. I think that's probably a lot worse than anything else that he's doing. That's a net negative. Um, Mark Zuckerberg, I'm sure he would like people to spend more time staring at phones and computer screens rather than necessarily improving the environment. Apple, I'm sure they would like to use whatever resources they can to have people dump their iPhones from last year and buy new ones over and over and over and over again, regardless. And people at the grocery store who sell food, they want to continue what they're doing by having flashy packaging, um, and whatever else, there's no effort to reduce CO2 footprints on that end. People who are cutting down the Amazon, just basically, they're few and far between people who are trying to make things better amongst wealthy people. And they are doing what they're doing for kicks because they don't need it. Now, if we look at everybody else, most of the people are not going to be in that category where they're independently wealthy. But we don't need as much as we do individually. We don't need another car. We don't need a brand new car. We don't need another phone. We don't need a bigger house. Why? Why can I say that? How do I know? I haven't met any of you all. I haven't met any of these people. Well, there was a DW Dutch Well, it's a German uh, website, media corporation. They have a channel, and they were in one of these channels, on one of these episodes, they were showing this guy who wanted to buy a tire, and he traced the tires. I think they went to Thailand, to maybe a rubber farm, where the people who would never drive a car were harvesting rubber. And these people work so much. They would probably never leave their country. They might probably never live in the cities in a nice big house, any of these things. And these people, they probably don't have amazing lives, but it's probably a lot better than it might have been um, 200 years ago, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't have so many people on the planet. Um, so maybe they've gotten vaccinated, maybe they have access to a limited supply of drugs. Um, Probably not accessible, have access to all the healthcare that people have around the world. The life expectancy is probably not as great as um, people in more developed countries. Anyway, at the end of the um, investigation, the guy is like satisfied with. Actually, no, I think it was they were investigating a negative thing with respect to rubber, but I was taking all the other stuff. Like, look at these people who have to harvest so much rubber to make a tire. And, the guy and I guess the crew and everybody, they go back to Germany at the end of filming. And they go back to, buying their tires. And no, 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 no. Yeah, people over there, they have hard lives. They take a really long time to harvest the rubber that I need just for one tire. How many tires will I use in my entire life driving all around Germany and on the Autobahn and blah, blah, blah. What I took from it was we don't need much. We don't need that much at all to live a pretty decent life. Now, I would hate to look at myself as an example because that is not the path that I was on. That is not what I wanted. I wanted as much money as I could get possible, I was hoping to make $500,000 a year if I could, um, doing programming. And it hasn't panned out that way. Not because it was something that I wanted, it just didn't work out that way, you know? But now, having taken the time in my life to try to get all of that money, but found myself on a slightly different route, I can see that it's not necessary. And beyond not necessary, the accumulation of possessions just leaves your mind in all these different places. Like if I have a house in France and I have a house in the west coast of America, or if I have a house in South America and I have a ship here and I have this and I have all these properties and I have all this money that needs to be invested, how much of that time am I focusing on my family and my friends or things that I want, real things that I want to accomplish in life, having all of these different things to think about? I live with, my extended family, my mom and two uncles, and it's one house, and there's a backyard, and I have so many different things that I need to attend to. and I have none of the things that I wanted, like a big car or a huge house or the ability to travel here, there, and everywhere. But at the same time, I'm still almost swamped with all of these things that need attending to be done right. So, yeah, it's really not necessary to have this huge carbon footprint in life. But most of us, and I still have to include myself in that a bit because I can't say that I've completely disengaged from the rat race wheel of accumulation and whatever else, but we don't need to do the things that we are doing that are continuing to make the situation of our habitat worse. We don't have to do it. It's not necessary. So we're doing it for kicks, I guess, for fun. We're making the world a worse place, not out of necessity, but out of a misplaced sense of achievement or something like that. We don't need to make 10 or 20 different trips, far less in a decade, far less in a year. We don't need to drive all over the place. We don't need a new this or new that or new the other or whatever it is. We are just accumulating money and items and trying to make our life better and do better than our parents, worsening our habitat for no real reason. It really is unfortunate, isn't it? I mean, however bad things eventually get, um, it won't be because it needed to be like that. It'll be because we just let it happen. It's like if we are overweight or we're smoking or we engage in some kind of other dangerous activities and we know that, we really should do something about it and we just never do that. Day after day, month after month, year after year, decade after decade. It's kind of crazy when you just think about it. Anyway, if you were listening, thanks, and have a good one. Peace.